Christ Errettung ist da.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Two Fellas online pub quiz. Number 14. Jesus, will this lockdown never end? Nope. We will be getting going very shortly. And this time, prepare yourselves a drink and get ready for an evening of trivia tickling. And a special good evening all the way to Milan to Tori, Danny and Fina. Stay fancy this Christmas. So, welcome back everybody. Back for another quiz. Same format as always. Except I've got company in the room who's going to probably shout at me, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And a dog who's chomping very happily away on a massive cow donut thing. In a crop top. Ever underestimate how large your dog is, or how you dreamily think that your dog is still a small puppy? We did. Now she's wearing a crop top. We put her onesie on from when she had an operation. That didn't work out either. All right, we're going to get going very, very shortly. As ever, round one will be our easier round. We'll then have our theme round, which is celebrity animals, followed by our audio round, which is TV themes, and then the harder round. I've already posted the link to the answer sheet for round one in the chat. I'm sure as things go along, Mike will also throw the links in there so you can keep up with them. Make sure you write your team name in, and make sure you keep your team name the same throughout the quiz. If you want to write funny answers, you can. They go straight to Mike, so I can't read them out. So I have no idea what you're writing. Hello, Marcus. Coming straight in there with the muggles. Good evening, Baddie Mass Index. Welcome back. So last week, Don't Fucking Clap won.
Woo!
Breaking a 4-week run of the House Martins victories. So let's see what happens this week. See who can upset the tables. Or has Don't Fucking Clap created a new base? Will they be able to follow up with that difficult second title? As the two fellas get merry chatting away in the chat. So, let's see. I've got my fingers crossed for you, Peter. But those House Martins, they're well adept at these old pub quizzes. All right, let's see how many. Okay, we got, looks like some good numbers going on. Right. So, without further ado, I will put the link back in the chat. Follow that link. Enter your team names. and we will get going. So, everybody go to that link, enter your team names, and we'll get going in a minute. This is the most I've ever seen the two fellas chat in the chat. Look, I'm going. All right, as they debate what's the correct spelling of homie and jinx and whatever else was the word was, we'll move on to round one. God, I really wish this keyboard was a bit closer. All right, so round one is our easier round. I hope that's a Pokemon reference with those lips there, Rob. Jinx, the big lips, yeah. All right, round one, question one. The spirit of whom visits Ebenezer Scrooge first? So, in A Christmas Carol, which is the first spirit to visit Ebenezer Scrooge? Danny's already dropping in there with the slams. As a public announcement, does anybody know what time Kaufland is open till on Christmas Eve? Thank you. That comes from my fiance. The important questions. This is the community answers group. I ask the questions here. I'm glad you've been drinking. That is the purpose of these evenings. So, question one. The spirit of whom visits Ebenezer Scrooge first? Ebenezer. Scrooge. Oh, wow. I'm just going to leave the chat to these two this evening. All right, that's question one. Moving on to question two. Known often as Boxing Day, but to which saint does the day after Christmas belong? No, no, Saint George Foreman. Known often as Boxing Day, but to which saint does the day after Christmas belong? So, which saint's day is the 26th of December? Oh. Finding some entertainment in the chat. Oh, Evie's really going to town on whatever that thing is. A birthday donut. So, question two, known often as Boxing Day, but to which, but to which saint does the day after Christmas belong? So, which saint's day is the 26th of December? Question three. The Sorrows of Young Werther is by which author who belonged to the Weimar Classicism movement? The Sorrows of Young Werther is by which author who belonged to the Weimar Classicism movement? Sounds like a bargain, Danny. Have me some of that wine. 1.5 liters. Does it come in a bottle or a box? Bottle of box. Bottle of box. Chickeny. So, The Sorrows of Young Werther is by which author who belonged to the Weimar Classicism movement? Question 4. In geometry, what name is given to a point where two or more curves, lines, or edges meet? In geometry, what name is given to a point where two or more curves, lines, or edges meet? Ooh, an extra large glass bottle. 1.5 liters of wine in a glass bottle. I was in Rome a very long time ago. I was in Rome. You could get, I think it was like 4 liters of wine in a jug, a glass jug, for like. Is that a gallon? You could get it in a glass jug or that for just 5 euros. I like the fucking like jug itself seemed like it was worth that much. I didn't drink it because I had to carry it back from where it was to the campsite, and that wasn't easy. Yeah, I got the juice boxes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Little straw. So in geometry, what name is given to a point where two or more curves, lines, or edges meet is your question 4. Question 5. In which English city is Peaky Blinders set in? So in which English city is Peaky Blinders set in? Is that actually where they shoot it? Huh. I mean, I don't think they'd actually shoot it in the city that it's set in because it's a shithole. Bye. So, in which English city is Peaky Blinders set in? Mm. Yeah, yeah, I do remember that. I was there. That was a great day. This is the world's largest pint glass. Pint? So, in which English city is Peaky Blinders set in? That is your question 5. On to question 6. What is the national sport of Japan? What is the national sport of Japan? Thinking of the sushi? Cup of TJ? Yeah. Do you like sushi? I'm not having sushi now. I just eating a big chicken pie. She looks hilarious in that jumper. She does. So 6. What is the national sport of Japan? On to question 7. If a brick weighs 1.5 kilos brick, how heavy is the brick? If a brick weighs 1.5 kilos brick, how heavy is the brick? This lagged my brain when I tried to figure this out earlier. Yeah. What is national definition of national sport? What is recognized? Who recognizes things as a national sport? National sport. A national sport is considered to be an intrinsic part of the culture of a nation. Oh, I wish I could read more, but Wikipedia has this issue with night mode where it changes the background but doesn't change the color of the text, so you only see the hyperlinks. I don't know how to get rid of night mode. I'm supposed to have it turned off, but it just does it anyway. So if a brick weighs 1.5 kilos brick, how heavy is the brick? Question 8. What is the name for a material that won't carry an electric charge? It made a stand for itself. Is it? Is it normally on St. Stephen's on Boxing Day? Tomorrow? Huh. Well, All Island final of what? Of I get confused between the All Island final of that and the that's the one. What is the name for a material that will not carry an electric charge? What is the name for a material that will not hold? I don't know. I didn't think hold was the right word. So, what is the name for a material that won't or will not carry an electric charge? Is your question 8 on to 9. Name the artist. Nice and simple. Name the artist. Question 9, nice and simple. Name the artist. What time is the football on? Who's playing? Mayo and Dublin. Yo, Dublin. Are you going to watch that then? Yeah, I'm sure we can watch that, yeah. Pick up some dinner and bring it home, yeah? Oh, some Guinness. Sorry, I thought you said dinner. I was like, okay, yeah. So, name the artist is question 9. Moving on to the final question for this round, question 10. What is the total of the internal angles of a hexagon? Of a hexagon. What is the total of the internal angles of a hexagon? Those are your questions for round 1. If you need any questions repeating, write in the chat. If not, you have until 32 minutes past the hour. 32 minutes past the hour to get your answer sheets submitted by. If you do not get them submitted by then you won't get them marked because they won't be able to be submitted. Let me get another definition which isn't on Wikipedia for national sport. So, a national sport of a country is designated either on the basis of the popularity of a game or on the basis of its historical connection. So, it is considered to be an intrinsic part of the culture of a nation. Huh. The national sport of Georgia is rugby union. I don't know if it's a curveball. So, in the case of the national sport of Japan, it is which sport is considered to be its most culturally intrinsic. So, what is the most culturally intrinsic sport of Japan to be its national sport? Do I have both the Sandy hats? Do you want the one that's full of chocolates? I will take a chocolate. Yeah. One of those ones. Mini. Some Kinder Mini. Question 4. Yes. Question 4. Oh, if I press them too fast, the thing stops. There we go. That's question 4 on the screen. In geometry, what name is given to a point where two or more curves, lines, or edges meet? Is tier 1 Is that where in rugby union? Is that where England, France, and so play? Is that tier 1? I guess it's not much higher than tier 1 unless they're like. All right. You only got a couple of minutes to get your answers in. Don't forget to click submit. Way. Confidence coming in there, Anna. Let's keep that confidence going through the quiz. Well, that thing's lasted her a while, hasn't it? Compared to the usual treats that she gets. Hey, you've got just over a minute to get your answers in. Yes. Question 10 is the sum of the angles, the internal angles of a hexagon. Ooh. Oh yeah, the dog is farting. It smells like sour Heineken. All right, Mike will now lock those answers. So if you haven't clicked submit, click them now as quickly as you can. And then we'll move on to the answers for that round once I have confirmation from Mike that they are locked. I am drinking a Irish gin, berry flavored gin, with extra raspberries in it and tonic. It's a bit late in the day, Peter, for a Bloody Mary. Or is it? Okay, so just waiting for confirmation that we're locked, and then the two fellas will busy themselves with scribbling away at the marking. Okay, so Mike is now locked. Like from Who wants to be there? Yeah. All right, let's move on to the answers for round one. Excuse me, what? So, round one, question one. It is Jacob Marley who first visits Ebenezer Scrooge. He's the first spirit, first ghost to visit Ebenezer Scrooge, the OG ghost. The saint who has their day on the 26th of December is Saint Stephen. Young Werther was written by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. In geometry, what name is given to a point where two more curves, lines, or edges meet? It's a vertex. Yeah, I ate all the chocolates in the hat. Peaky Blinders is set in Birmingham. Sumo wrestling is the national sport of Japan that is intrinsic to its national heritage and culture. Mouthful. Its most popular sport is baseball. Apparently, it's very, very good. What is vertex in German? It's apparently still vertex. Yeah, like don't give me Birmingham. We don't want Birmingham in the north. Birmingham's in the Midlands. It's well and truly there. Leave it there. Don't let Birmingham out. Don't you start stirring stuff up. We'll start talking about the north. Look. 7. If a brick weighs 1 kilo and half a brick, how heavy is the brick? It's 2 kilos. The name for the material that won't carry an electric charge is an insulator. Those atoms won't be wriggling around here. The artist was Frida Kahlo. And the final question, the sum of the internal angles of a hexagon is 720 degrees. So that was your round one. We will get going with Birmingham. Can be absolutely fine, you know, it's just leave it in the Midlands. They used to make nice cars. They used to make good chocolate. Is Cadbury still made in Birmingham? Mm. What is insulator in German? Oh, what was that? All right, let's move on to round two. Now, round two, as I said, is our theme round. And our theme this week is celebrity animals. Make of that what you will. Vertex in German, acceptable answer is a Scheitelpunkt. As for the I'll get you the form, yeah. I knew I'd forget that. So, where 2 points meet is a vertex. Where the line crosses over the axes, at that point, that is an intercept. So I was looking for where the 2 points meet, and that's the vertex. So for example, the line meets at x3, that is its intercept, but the vertex is where the 2 points meet. Let's see if I can get my focus. Very bright, yeah. Too bright. Yeah, now my phone's reacting. So, moving on to round 2. You have the form in the chat. Click on the form, enter your same team name from moving on from round 1. Round 2, enter your team name. We're going on straight on with question 1. What was the name of the first cloned animal? The answer is vertex. So, what was the name of the first cloned animal? 2. What famous movie whale did Keiko the orca play? So, which famous movie whale did Keiko the orca play? There we go. Michael Lorwith there has wonderfully explained, effectively just putting the answer into the question, what I asked. So we can settle it that. The answer was vertex. If you didn't put vertex, you don't get a point. Move on. Question 3. To which early to mid 2000s celebrity and socialite did Tinkerbell the Chihuahua belong? To which early to mid 2000s celebrity and socialite did Tinkerbell the Chihuahua belong? And those quotation marks are very necessary. Eating a block of dried animal would probably make me thirsty too. So, to which to which early to mid 2000s celebrity and socialite did Tinkerbell the Chihuahua belong? So, to which early to mid 2000s celebrity and socialite did Tinkerbell the Chihuahua belong? And that's your question 3. So, how was Tadar Sauce better known? So, how was Tadar Sauce better known? Take the jumper off. I'm pretty sure its name was tartar sauce. Oh, I do like some tartar sauce. She's trying to. So, how was tartar sauce better known? That was your question 4. Question 5. What type of animal was Lonesome George? I will give you a bonus point if you are not Latin specific, but specific. Super specific. Is that all that's left of it? Wow. Look at that face. Look at that face. So, what type of animal was Lonesome George? Was the lonesome one? Got to get those small bits up before the vacuum cleaner comes in and takes them away. So, question 5 was what type of animal was Lonesome George? Question 6. What was it claimed that the horse, der kluge Hans, also known as Clever Hans, not to be confused with the general nickname Clever Hans, could do? So, what was it claimed that the horse, der kluge Hans, could do? Clever Hans. So, what was it claimed that the horse, der kluge Hans, could do? What was special about der kluge Hans that was claimed he could do? Must find more. Pop it. We need to get this thing off of you. I'll get it off. We'll have a break shortly. Question 7. Unsinkable Sam, a cat, survived first the scuttling of which battleship before surviving the sinking of 2 British ships during World War II? So, in total, Unsinkable Sam survived the sinking of 3 different ships, but which was the first one that he survived that was scuttled? So, Unsinkable Sam, a cat, survived first the scuttling of which battleship before surviving the sinking of 2 British ships during World War II? dog is now licking the carpet. That was your question 7. Question 8. Bucephalus was to Alexander the Great as Cincinnati was to Ulysses S. Grant, as Marengo was to. So Bucephalus was to Alexander the Great as Cincinnati was to Ulysses S. Grant, as Marengo was to.
Sorry, you're so warm.
I've turned the radiator down in here as well because it's roasting. So Bucephalus was to Alexander the Great as Cincinnati was to Ulysses S. Grant, as Marengo was to. That is your question 8. Question 9. What was the name of the chimp that Michael Jackson often dressed in the same clothes as himself? Freak. What was the name of the chimp that Michael Jackson often dressed in the same clothes as himself? The chimp, unlike Michael Jackson, is still alive. And finally, question 10. Name the groundhog in Groundhog Day. Full name. There, that's your 10 questions. If you need any repeating, write them in the chat. And I'm going to make myself another drink. So hopefully Mike or Rob will answer those if I'm not back in time. You'll have until 5 past the hour. So you've got 7 minutes to get your answers in. Yes, in the movie. All right, you got 2 minutes to get your answers in. 2 minutes. And then Mike will lock at 5 past. One minute. Make sure you click submit soon. Hi, Poppet. Sorry, I'll close the blind on your head. I'd laugh if she was able to squeak that toy, but we can't hear it. But somehow it picks up through a microphone. Yeah. All right. Answers should be locked now. So I will post the link. It might not be active yet, but I'll post the link for round 3 in the chat now, so I don't forget. But I will do the answers first. Don't worry. All right. So answers should be locked. So we will move on now to the answers for round 2. There you go. So, question 1 was, what was the name of the first cloned animal? It was Dolly. 2, the name of the whale that Keiko the orca played was Willy in Free Willy. They released Keiko to the wild near Iceland. Didn't last very long, sadly. 3, the dog Tinkerbell the Chihuahua belonged to Paris Hilton, that well-known celebrity on socialite of the mid-2000s. Question 4, Tadasaurus was better known as Grumpy Cat. 5, Curious George was a tortoise, but to get the bonus point, you could have written Pinter Island tortoise is the exact species name of Lonesome George. Or was. 6 rather. The horse De Kluger Hans, it was claimed that he could do arithmetic or math. That was what was claimed. But a study later showed that he was actually just reading very, very small movements, subconscious movements of his trainer. That's quite cool. Unsinkable Salmon Cat survived, firstly, the sinking or the scuttling of the Bismarck, before surviving 2 further British ships sinking during World War II, and then retiring to a small little cottage in Devon. Interesting life. Yeah, counting's fine as well. I'll accept counting. It's effectively what he did, just in different ways. Did you eat too much, Evie? Is this the issue? Bucephalus was to Alexander the Great, as Cincinnati was to Ulysses S. Grant, as Marengo was to Napoleon. They were all their horses. Marengo was Napoleon's last horse, who outlived Napoleon by 8 years in the end. 9. The name of the chimp that Michael Jackson often dressed in the same clothes as himself was Bubbles. Oh, the Among Us chat is already off. And the groundhog in Groundhog Day, its full name was that's on your screen now. Punxsutawney. I can't see if that's a T or an L. Punxsutawney Phil, something like that. So those were your questions for the theme round. We will now, in a minute, move on to the audio round. It is an audio round, predominantly because the visuals are too difficult to get, which aren't then form some sort of copyright thing. So it's your task is to identify the TV themes that you are going to hear. Music from TV shows and such. If your spelling was off, that's fine. Sebastian has been permanently muted from this chat. If you don't like the questions I'm asking, don't turn up to the quiz. Don't be a choosing beggar. So your task for the audio round is just to guess the TV themes. They are covers, again, to get around any sort of copyright that might stop me from putting these up here. So you will hear 10. And yeah, we go on from there. So here we go. So I make sure. I already posted the answer form further up the field, but there it is again. So I'll give you a second to add your name and such. Right, on with the theme round. Sorry, the music round. Oh, sorry, I thought that was the right one. Give me a moment to get it sorted. It'll be fixed in a second. Say talk amongst yourselves, however you do that. Have you got the stream on your iPad? Is it working? Oh, okay. It looks like funny. I can't. My feed looks like it's gone down, but it's apparently not. So. Ah, fair enough. Okay. I'm not the one fixing it. No, I don't do this stuff. I don't know how this works. Have people managed to be able to get onto the sheet? I see Mike saying this. Try this. I can't, Mike. You're not sending any links. I hope people had a chance to enjoy a Glühwein crawl before the lockdown hit. All right. Quite like that. All right, there's a link there. That should work. There we go. Right, so enter your team names there, and we'll get going with the music round. So some nice graphics for you to watch, but they don't mean anything.
Now here's a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. I'll take a minute, just sit right there and hear how I became the...
That was the theme to which show? Sorry, YouTube seemed to be blocking every time we try to send the link. one more time. You'll hear everything again, now with the chance to write it into the form.
Now here's the story, all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. I'll take a minute, just sit right there and hear how I became the
Well, there we go. Those are your audio round things. You've got 5 minutes to submit your. Well, you've got until 20 to the hour, so 4 minutes to submit your answers. So submit your answers as quickly as you can until 20 to the hour. Hope you enjoyed the cat. I think they're all TV. Were they all TV? Fairly sure they're all TV. All right, so you've got 3 minutes to get your answers in. 3 minutes. Can you see the link that I've posted in the chat? Mike's tried a couple of times and it's disappeared. You can't see it? Oh, weird. All right, just a minute left to get your answers in. Click submit on those forms, and the link for round 4 is in the chat. Hopefully, you can all see it. Okay, so Mike will lock the answers for the audio round. I will bring up the answers myself so I know what they are. I don't remember. So, do. Okay, right. Let's get on with the answers. So, the blues version you heard was of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The 8-bit theme was The Twilight Zone. The full orchestration was Doctor Who. The rock was The Muppet Show. And the one which sits in its own space was Star Trek The Next Generation. The singular piano and voice was Sesame Street. The closest one to the original version was Prison Break. Then the cats was, of course, Game of Thrones. The second to last sort of synth wavy sound was The Mandalorian. And finally, the ethereal sounding one was the theme to the Formula One show. So, those were your answers for the audio round. I didn't realize that the same guy who did Westworld, Game of Thrones, and he also did Prison Break. Yeah, same guy. Right. Oh, he's great. I can't say his name, but he's great. Name's too complicated to say off the top of my head. I can remember some of the letters, but not the actual name. But did you? I mean, the question is, Anna, did you spell your team name the same throughout? That was a cat. That was not a dog. Now you got me questioning. It was a cat. It was definitely a cat.
It goes meow, meow,
Meow, meow, meow,
and
meow.
it's a video of a cat.
All right, we're going to go straight on now to the hard round. Harder round. You'll have to scroll up the chat to find the link. It is there. Enter your team name, and we'll get going with question 1. Which country has the most islands? Is it Canada, Sweden, Greece, or Russia? So, which country in the world has the most islands? Is it A, Canada, B, Sweden, C, Greece, or D, Russia? Where is my broadcast station? This is actually all the green screen this week. I've actually emigrated to the South Atlantic. There's some islands down there, you know. St. Helena in particular. Trying to wear the dog's jumper. It's like some Renaissance fair stuff. Like, I'm an archer. Ooh. Ooh. Every archer, apparently. They all do it. So question 1 is, which country has the most islands? Is it A, Canada, B, Sweden, C, Greece, or D, Russia? Rightmove.co.uk. Two. On the U2 album Arctung Babies artwork, which brand of car is featured? So on the U2 album Arctung Babies artwork, which brand of car is featured? I might just jump into a game of Among Us as we do this. In York. So, question 2, on the U2 album Arctung Babies artwork, which brand of car is featured? It's in a little square. It's sort of a mosaic of images. Little square. Question 3, The Nutcracker is a 2-act ballet by which composer? And it premiered on this day in 1892. So, The Nutcracker is a 2-act ballet by which Russian composer? And it premiered on this day in 1892. Have our own little house when we have some land with an upstairs and downstairs. Have to make it. Oh yeah, expensive. So question 3, The Nutcracker is a 2-act ballet by which Russian composer that premiered on this day in 1892? Question 4. What was the name of the original FIFA Football World Cup trophy that was stolen and never recovered on the 19th of December 1983? So what was the name of the original FIFA World Cup trophy that was stolen and never recovered on the 19th of December 1983? Won't you tell me how to get to? Hello? Sesame Street. Question 4 was, what was the name of the original FIFA Football World Cup trophy that was stolen and never recovered on the 19th of December 1983? That was question 4. Question 5. Lucasian Chair of Mathematics is a mathematics professorship at which university? I hear they do a lot of counting. The Lucasian Chair of Mathematics is a mathematics professorship at which university? Question 5 was Lucasian Chair of Mathematics is a mathematics professorship at which university? 5. 6. In which year was it first declared that Jesus was born on the 25th of December? Was it A, the year 0, B, the year 1, C, 255 AD, D, 354 AD, or E, 1802? So, in which year was it first declared that Jesus was born on the 25th of December? Was it A, 0, B, 1 AD, C, 255 AD, D, 354 AD, or E, 1802? AD, obviously. All AD. Well, yeah. So 6, in which year was it first declared that Jesus was born on the 25th of December? A, 0, B, 1, C, 255, D, 354, or E, 1802? Question 7, identify the city from that image. So, question 7, which city is in that image? So 7 is identify that city. Moving on, question 8. What is the title of Barack Obama's memoir published in November of this year? So what is the title of Barack Obama's memoir published in November of this year? I'll make the picture bigger when we get to the end of these questions. I'll go back to it. So 9. What substance has the chemical formula C17H12? Where I can't read that from here. C17H21NO4. So what substance has the chemical formula C17H21NO4? $11. Yeah. Not to be my first victim in Among Us. I can't promise that. If the opportunity's there, I'm taking it. Self-report. I presume the usual group. Yeah. So, what substance has the chemical formula C17H21NO4 is your question 9. And finally, question 10. Most importantly, according to ELF, what are the 4 main food groups? Half a point for each. So, according to ELF, what are the 4 main food groups? Half a point for each. I wonder where he is. Right, I will go back to the picture one and I'll try and make it a little bit larger there. So how about that? So to give you another chance, question 7. That's the overhead image. You have until 6 minutes past the hour to get your answers in. 6 minutes past the hour, then they will lock. Three minutes to get your answers in. 3 minutes, get them in by 22:06. Unless you're in a different time zone, then get them in by 6 minutes past the hour. Yep. Question 2. Oh, hang on. Sorry, my arrows aren't working. Hang on. Here we go. There we go. There we go. That's question 2. On the U2 album Arcton Baby as artwork, which brand of car is featured? All right, you got less than a minute to get your answers in. Less than a minute. Click submit now or forever. Not enter your answers. All right, Mike will be locking those answers in. And then we'll go through the answers ourselves. All right, so they're locked. All right, the answers to the hard round were... That's Evie again. Where's the answers there? The country with the most islands in the world is Sweden, with 221,800 islands. The U2 album Arctic Babies artwork features a Trabant. The Nutcracker was composed by Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. The name of the original FIFA Football World Cup trophy was the Jules Rimet Trophy. The Lucasian Chair of Mathematics is at the University of Cambridge. The first year that Christ was declared to have been born on the 25th December was 354 AD, taking over the role from the Sol Invictus Day, a Roman celebration of the sun. And it was first mentioned, I love this guy's name. Where is it now? The guy who declared that Jesus was born on the 25th December was Furius Dionysius Philocalus. Great name. 7, the city was Prague. 8, the title of Barack Obama's memoir is A Promised Land. The substance C17H21NO4 was cocaine. And finally, the 4 main food groups are candy, candy canes, candy corn, and naturally, syrup. Has anybody tried spaghetti with syrup? So those were your questions and your answers from this week's quiz. We will now await the answers from to be fully marked by the 2 bearded men themselves, the 2 fellas, and then we will see who has triumphed once again, or who is a new champion, or who is a returning champion, whatever it may be, very, very shortly. So in the meantime, I'm going to have about a 5-minute break whilst they just correlate those answers, and I'll be back myself in a second. Has anybody been tempted to do the syrup on the spaghetti? God, Elf must be coming up to what? 20 years old? Was it 2003? Or was it later? To remind. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you to Lexi. I hope she had a safe flight. Saw that there was some travel difficulties. With a plum. A plum. A plum. You never watched Prison Break? You only need to watch one season. Don't watch anything after the first season. They get out. We end it there. I spoilt it. I'm sorry. I was one of the few things like when I had a tiny little 14-inch CRT TV in my bedroom that on a I think it was Monday night it was on. I was tuning in every week to watch it. It was great. And then like they just messed up after that. Just they were like, we need to make more money off of it. And I think they'd make like a Netflix film or something. Oh, season one Prison Break. Great. I watched it again like 4 years ago. So just wait on the answers to come in. Yeah, do not go past season one of Prison Break. It gets bad so quick. It goes from being, wow, this is great, to being, oh no. Very much like the last season of Game of Thrones. That's brilliant. Brilliantly bad. I love it. Okay, the scores will be trickling in very shortly. All right, so the scores are coming in. So I have to go out of focus on the camera because I can't be bothered trying to focus it again. Oh, I need to get closer to read it. Oh, we had a very good turnout again. And it is once again close towards the top. Just make sure that. I think we may be sorted. Okay, so we had 23 teams competing tonight. And we begin from our 23 teams with 18th place. That means we've got quite a few ties. So in 18th place on 15.5 points is Team Couch Potato. In 17th place on 20 points is Termin Absprachen on 20 points. Just half a point ahead of them on 20.5 is Duffy and Hutch in 16th, and half a point ahead of them in 15th is Two Fellas One Pub. Half a point ahead of them in 14th on 21.5 points is Lynn's Friends. And then in 13th place on 23 points, we've got Bacon Salad, the best type of salad. In 12th place on 25 points, we've got The Important Shoes. In 11th place, half a point ahead of them on 25.5 points, is Rudolph and the Jurgens. In joint 10th place on 26 points, we have Two Girl Roosters, The Excelsiors, and Mildred Dropped Her Champagne. Poor Mildred. So now in ninth place on In 9th place, on 26.5 points, we have Oggy Undi Kakalaken. In 8th place, on 27.5 points, is the Missile Hose. In 7th place, on 28 points, we've got Rolo Con Polo. In 6th place, just half a point ahead of them on 28.5, is Puparazzi and the Pickle. In 5th place, on 29 points, are our last week's winners, Don't Fucking Clap. In 4th place, just a point ahead of them on 30 points, is Two Butts, No Dick. And then we come to 3rd place. In 3rd place, tied on 32 points, are 3 of our regulars. We have Deduction Rotter, Alexander Bombers Fan Club Panko Light, and the House Martins, and King Sperm. 4 teams tied in 3rd place on 32 points. So the last 2, or the first 2, in 2nd place on 33.5 points is Grabia Baubi, which means our winners on 36 points is We Came for the Tier. So congratulations everybody in We Came for the Tier and everybody who participated in this week's quiz. I'll post the score sheet later into the Simon Does Pub quiz on Facebook, and the two fellas will also post it as well, so you can see the scores and what you got per round. But there we go. Stop the count again. Thank you everybody for playing once again, and yes, well done, Suze, on the animal pun. It could even be considered a pun about lockdowns in Britain and such, but you know, very clever anyway. Just remember, all I want for Christmas is the EU. There we go. Thank you everybody for playing. Hope you have a lovely Christmas and a happy new year. And we'll see what happens in the new year. So have a great evening and a great Christmas, everybody, and good night.